All right, so this video provides us with some important information as we move from inquiry into argument. If you'll remember, we began this semester with a focus on listening, which we supported through close and critical reading of a text. We then moved into a more active role, developing an inquiry question. We also gathered research and learned about various perspectives, which we compiled in our annotations. And now we're finally in a place where we can take a more active role in our writing and shift from this place of asking questions to building an argument. So here we have a model that you should all remember, the famous donut argument, which we have broken down into thesis, reasons, and evidence. And we have our thesis statement, which is this overarching idea that the writer wants the reader to believe and ultimately agree with, this idea that donuts are the best breakfast food ever for a busy college student. We also have reasons, which are broader ideas which work to support the thesis statement. So they often act as because statements. The claim is true because of the reasons. Donuts are the best because they are cheap. And then we have evidence that is made up of facts and information that doesn't necessarily speak to the argument on its own, but ultimately can be tied back to the thesis through their support of the key points or reasons. Now, just to break this down and give you a general sense of the kinds of things you want to be thinking about as you're developing these ideas, the thesis or central claim should illustrate the following ideas to your reader. So you want them to know what the specific focus of your argument is, as in what are you writing about, what are you arguing for. You also want them to have a general sense of who your intended audience is. And there are ways to construct thesis statements where you make mention of that specific group. You also want them to have a clear sense of your purpose. And as a reminder, your purpose is one of the three or a combination: to convince undecided readers to accept your thesis, to make opposing readers less resistant to your thesis, or to convince readers who agree with you to take action. Additionally, depending on the needs of your intended audience or your topic, the thesis statement that you choose might include a preview of your key points, and it could also potentially include a nod to alternative arguments or opposing views. Now, it's important to remember that the reasons or key points that you use are ideas that show why the thesis is true or show why the writer believes the thesis to be true. And it's important that you can see this link as you're developing your argument so that ultimately your intended audience is able to see the link as well. It's also worth keeping in mind that reasons are opinions oftentimes because they represent broader ideas. And because of this, they can't stand alone. They need evidence to show that they can be considered valid or true. So each reason needs to be supported with evidence, which can include a number of things. The evidence can be comprised of statistics, facts and quotations from your research, sometimes results of field research, such as interviews can be used. And at times, evidence can be comprised of first-hand observations or examples of personal experience, though in those cases, we also want to supplement that evidence with other kinds of hard facts and information that is credible. And as you're ultimately developing this structure for your intended audience, you always want to make sure you're referring back to the thesis. The thesis should function as a guide map for your writing that'll keep you on course. So it's important to have an effective claim in mind as you begin writing, and then as you write and build your reasons and continue to pull together evidence, you continue to refine your claim so that everything ultimately ties back to that idea. So there are a few things that you want to keep in mind as you continue to develop your argument structure and revise your claim. And the first is that you want to make sure that you're making an assertion rather than asking a question. Now, up until this point, you have been focused on the idea of inquiry, which has allowed you to gather a variety of perspectives as you engaged in research. At this point, though, we're shifting over into taking a stance on the issue, which means that you need to answer your question with a claim of your own. So, for example, if my inquiry question had been, how does online education compare with traditional in-person education? I might ultimately answer that question with this claim. Though in many cases it's more convenient to take online classes, online education isn't as effective as traditional in-person learning because the face-to-face format gives students the opportunity to practice thinking on their feet and applying their knowledge to situations in the workplace. So here we see a shift from asking questions about the topic to taking an actual stance on the issue. Another thing that you want to be sure of is that you are writing a thesis statement rather than a purpose statement. So a thesis statement focuses on your topic and makes an argument that you, the writer, will attempt to prove, whereas a purpose statement is more of a sentence that describes your general topic. For instance, here we have the purpose statement. In my paper, I intend to examine benefits of online education. So while that gives your reader a sense of what you might be trying to do or the work that you've done or your topic, it doesn't give your reader a sense of what it is you are actually arguing and what it is you're trying to prove. A statement like, college students considering online education should seriously consider taking all or at least part of their classes online, as this kind of learning can be both rigorous and relevant. That is something that tells your reader what it is you're trying to prove. You also want to make sure that you're avoiding so statements. And a so statement often prompts a reader to ask, okay, so what? What's the point? Right? So you want to make sure that you are establishing some debatability in your statement. So the idea that there is an argument there and it isn't just something that is already established, as well as exigency, where you're showing your reader why this issue is urgent. For example, I might make the following statement. The numbers of part-time and contingent faculty are increasing at many colleges and universities, and many of these faculty don't have contracts. And while my intended audience might find this interesting, they aren't really being told why this is important, nor are they being told why it's important to them and why they should care. However, if we look at the following statement, we can see how it provides us with more of a sense of that urgency. So the following statement reads, instructors' uncertainty about their futures can harm student learning, since faculty have little incentive to invest in their institution and its students when they don't feel connected to or appreciated by their school. So this statement gives your reader a much clearer sense of what is at stake for them and for other stakeholders potentially. Another thing that you want to remember is to use accurate and specific words, and this is something that we can always work on in any genre. So going through, taking a look at your thesis and seeing how you can get more specific to your actual meaning, replacing those broad, vague words with specific ones that communicate exactly what you mean. Because once again, you know what you mean in your head, but that doesn't always translate to your intended reader. So we have the following statement. Exploring the history of and reasons for Colorado State University's on-campus living requirement for first-year students provides us with a good perspective on how the school hopes to foster campus community. So there are a few words here that we're pretty unsure of in terms of what the writer is actually meaning. Good perspective is pretty vague, as well as us, as well as students. Even though there are some specific words here, there are places where this writer could go further. And we see that the example below definitely gives us a much clearer picture of what it is the author is ultimately arguing for. The last thing that you want to remember, and this is incredibly important, is that you match your thesis with any supporting information. So make sure that the facts and evidence you've gathered actually work to support your thesis. If you're finding that that's not the case, then think about how you might revise your thesis in the body of your writing until they really fit each other point for point. Because the last thing you want to end up with is this awesome thesis statement that ultimately isn't proven by all of this research and work that you have completed. So, over the course of the next few weeks, you'll have the opportunity to continue to gather evidence and develop your reasons and refine your thesis statement. And it's going to be important that you keep all of these factors in mind so that you ultimately have a really cohesive argument that ties back to one defining claim, which communicates to your intended audience what it is you want them to believe and get behind, and why it should be important to them.